If it's December, then it's Le Jog, Europe's toughest regularity rally. And 2017 sees the 23rd running of the Land's End to John O'Groats epic. Starting from the most southerly tip of the mainland, intrepid crews will have to brave the worst of British winter weather and whatever the route planners have in store for them, from narrow lanes to open mountain ranges and numerous regularities and tests. The legend of Le Jog is fast growing throughout the world and has become a bucket list must-do event for those with a true passion for classic rallying. But how many will survive to reach journey's end? Le Jog is classed in the advanced category of hero rallies and is designed for the hardest and most experienced of crews. But with such a growing reputation, the rally has steadily attracted a large number of novices, all looking to say, "I did Le Jog."
First time we're at the jog, first time we've done it, or first time I've done it, so it's a big experience. Just come back from the rally of the test, so we've managed to finish that, and with this same car, it's been cleaned up, all put back together again, and we're ready to go.
The first time for me, Pete, my navigator, who's the brains, it's his second or third time, so we'll give it our best shot, but I guess we're just a bit anxious about the weather, and there's more tow ropes up there.
How many?
We've got 3. You never know.
No, you don't. We've got a checklist that every car's got to meet, and we're looking for hydraulic handbrakes and various other bits and pieces, and make sure primarily the car is safe to compete on the road. Such a life of you. And then you just go back in.
So exactly what is it about Le Jog that continues to draw competitors to the challenge? Unlike most rallies, Le Jog has no overall winner. Instead, competitors must achieve and maintain a certain level of excellence throughout the event. Should they fail to maintain this standard, they lose gold medal status, slip to silver, or even out of the medals completely. The gold medal is therefore seen as a real feather in the cap of anyone able to complete the challenge.
This is an event I've done a number of times, and I seem to have every sort of medal except a gold one. So every time you come back, you want a gold, and that's why you're here, to do as well as you can.
This will be our 17th attempt at it. We've always done it in the same car, but it's just, I don't know, it's just a unique challenge that keeps us coming back.
It's a challenge that we both decided was something that we wanted to do before we got too old to be able to do this type of thing.
It's been on the bucket list, so it was a chance not to be missed.
Yeah.
My parents brought me up in cars and Volvo specifically, so I've been rallying for years, and this is a fantastic rally.
Driving the car, I think, is the challenge for me, and not getting lost is the challenge for Neil.
Concentration more than anything, I think, just to keep mentally focused for such a long period of time, especially during the middle of the night. It's quite a lot to take on board, the navigator and driver.
There's a lot of pressure to kind of keep performing long into the, into the evening, then late into the night. That's where the navigation starts to play tricks on you. It's the endurance. Can we cope with each other? Will the car survive? Can we get to John O'Groats?
This event has a worldwide reputation. I'm diving in at the deep end and hope I can swim. I've been told Le Jog is notorious for the weather, so we've had all these forecasts of snow and ice all over UK. I've brought my own toolkit, extra de-icer, woolly undergarments, a little towel, spare t-shirt. This is full of energy bars and a bit of face cream, and they're all taking the mickey out of me, and I don't know why. This is my Le Jog preparation.
I'll be looking forward to it, full of apprehension, like everybody else, I think. This is the first year where there's potentially snow, so a little bit nervous, but what will be, will be.
It's a wonderful event, I love it, and we are preparing the MGA every year.
I'm looking forward to the finish and looking back with a glow of satisfaction.
All right, don't turn left, you're going to the sea.
The cold light of a December morning sees 55 pre-1980s cars leave the start line and head straight into the first test along the rocks clinging to the Atlantic coast. However, the first test of the first morning was neither the time or the place for grand heroics, as there was still a very long way to go before John O'Groats. As usual, though, there would be no slowing some teams as the adrenaline was in full flow. So for some, it was full steam ahead, while for others, it was steady away. Leaving the initial test behind, teams head off on the first of a planned 30 regularities, aptly named Shiver Me Timbers, a playful nod to both the location and the weather. Leg 1 takes teams through Cornwall, Devon, Somerset and Gloucestershire over the Severn Bridge into Wales and on to Abergavenny for the evening's rest hold. Navigators had to be on their game as the route planners weren't going to just give away those gold medals. Tests 2 and 3 would be quick blasts around the car park at Cornwall College, Camborne, where Thomas de Vargas Machuca, guided by Ali Proctor, managed an excellent time of 1 minute and 3 seconds. But coming in just a second quicker were Andy Lane and Ian Tully, also in competitive mood. Everyone seemed to be getting into the swing of the loose test, but topping the timesheets on the last test was the ever-quick Golf GTI of the Bricknells, with a time of 1 minute dead. Regularity 2 when we wind our way through the lanes on the southern edge of the famous Bodmin Moor. Over the next 3 days and nights, crews must average just over 18 miles an hour to stay in the running for medals, and that's even when not at the wheel. Route coordinator and local boy Dan Pigeon had set up an intricate puzzle for navigators on this complex regularity, using the many not-as-map loops and triangles. And his trick seemed to be working, fooling navigators into finding alternative routes around the same patch of grass. We then passed through the snow-dusted open countryside of Bodmin Moor proper. Bill Kleindert and Dan Harrison's Mini ventured on with the mechanical assistant boys in close attendance. Perhaps there was something they knew that we didn't. Link sections often provide a welcome respite from the more competitive sections and is a time when crews can travel in convoy. Time Control 3 at the Two Bridges Hotel gave navigators little time to catch their breath. So what was the feeling so far?
The roads have been somewhat slippy in places just because they're damp,
There's a bit of snow on the ground here on Dartmoor, but not on the roads.
Very slippery and very muddy so far. So the first of the snow is just where we've come over the moors, just behind us there, but none on the roads yet. But by the sounds of it, we're going to be heading to lots of snow in Wales and the Midlands.
Baptism of fire, just trying to learn about regularity rallying. Muddy, slippy, and there was cars coming from all over the place. Just trying to work out what's going on really and get up to speed with it, but so far, blimey, it's got my attention.
The tests have been good. We know that we think Tony Scherch might be out. He's had problems with his engine. He was stopped on one of the tests, but everybody else seems to be still going. But yeah, the car's fine. Andy Valentine is absolutely magic. He's a brilliant navigator, and we're getting on well in the car. So, you know, and we've still got lots of sweets left.
Yours truly, a brilliant navigator? Of course I am. The regularity over the wide open expanse of Dartmoor National Park meant a chance to take in the views and spot the odd wild pony. Here, Martin Taylor proved to be on top of the maps, putting in the best performance in his continuing quest for the Golden Roma. The first day's lunch would be at Exeter Racecourse. For some, they had already experienced an epic struggle just getting this far.
Well, we originally planned to use my Ford Escort, went to put it in reverse gear to get it out to the garage, and the clutch failed, and that was 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. So we then rung round Hero, and Mark O'Donnell, to be fair to him, was an absolute star, took a text message at 4 o'clock in the morning, sorted me out with the Lancia. And then we discovered that the Lancia's alternator wasn't working, so we couldn't use that either. So Dave Smith, one of the mechanics with Malden Garage here, kindly offered us to loan us his Maestro, which we've been having great fun with this morning, and now discovered at lunch we've got an oil leak.
Hot, no-nonsense bangers and mash was just what was needed before setting off on the 2 tests at the racecourse. The car park test saw Tony Jardine put in a spirited effort in the arrive and drive BMW with a time of 54 seconds, quite the promising start on his Le Jog debut. In hot pursuit were Mike Tanswell and yours truly, me, Andy Ballantyne, with Mike putting the boot in, as you can see. But up there at the sharp end, as usual, was the Bricknalls Golf, the duo sharing the top spot with another 7 crews with a time of 48 seconds. It was short, tight at the top. The loose surface and tight turns made for great spectating as driver after driver pushed their machines to the limit. The racecourse perimeter road then played host to an alternative demonstration of horsepower as James O'Mahony and Frank Hussey in their Volvo just pipped Owen Turner and Bob Blaze for top spot. Leaving Exeter Racecourse behind, a 5 timing point 15-mile regularity through Blackdown Hills would take crews north through the West Country, where the navigation would again prove tricky for some. The afternoon would see another 3 tests and a series of link roads before we say goodbye to the West Country and head for the old 7 services for test 9 of the day. As darkness descended, the winding tight course around the old customer car park would keep navigators and drivers on their toes. Ron Hanson and Claire Grove in their borrowed Maestro were settling into their third car of the event, but at least they were still in the running. Unlike driver Mike Tanswell, and yes, yours truly, alas, we could play no further part in the proceedings when we suffered a disappointing gearbox failure on the test. So it was head for home and try again next year. Ah well, that's rallying. For those crews still in the running, it was time to leave England and head west over the old Severn Bridge and into deepest, darkest Wales. The final regularity of Leg 1 takes us through the lands of the Druids, past festive well-wishers and on to Abergavenny for a welcome rest and a hot meal.
Okay so far, got here, haven't missed any controls. Timing's a bit erratic, but at least we're here and managed to block the time control section, so looking forward to an exciting evening.
One little silly error, overshot a junction, and then another one where a major error where we missed the road totally and dropped a minute. So not worried, there's a hell of a long way to go yet. No problem, but I think the 9th section is about to change all of that.
So the organisers have sent several cars out in advance and they're sort of relaying information back here, and they've said that one of the sections isn't suitable for us to rally.
Reg 1 of this evening is definitely cancelled, so they've done a reroute for that. There's rumours of Reg 5 also being cancelled, but we haven't received an amendment for that just yet. So I think at the minute they're just trying to piece together what we can do, but hopefully we're very shortly going to be underway for the Saturday night leg from Wales.
Leg 2 would see crews leave Abergavenny and travel through Wales north to Chester. As cars departed the Hog's Head, the weather forecast didn't look good. Driving into the night, crews would encounter increasingly icy conditions with a promise of snow before arriving in Chester around 3:30 in the morning. As predicted, the snow had indeed arrived, and by breakfast there was plenty of the white stuff.
Story of the rally so far. Tony had made a comment on the first test about the clutch. By the time we got through the second test, there was smoke, a lot of smoke, and at the end of the third one we realised that the clutch was actually, there were flames and there was smoke coming through the gear. That was really the end of the rally, so we then got a hire car and we drove up here last night to beat the rally at 11 o'clock, and now we're hopefully going to be able to help the rally along a little bit, maybe checking some roads out tomorrow when the weather looks like it's going to be a bit nasty. I don't really want to give up, don't want to go home. Just a shame that we're not in the running.
Feeling a bit despondent this morning, but they've had a rejig of results and scrubbed 4 TCs last night, which puts us in gold medal position, which we're more than pleased with at the moment.
Our evening was dreadful because we just have no grip and we kept getting stuck, and my back aches because I'm not built for pushing a Porsche.
We just put 2 wheels on the side of the road, not seriously off the road, but the tarmac ripped the sidewalls off 2 tyres. So we had 2 instantaneous punctures. Midnight on a Saturday night, Sunday morning, you're not going to get an awful lot of people to come out and bring 2 tyres and fit them. So we've had to leave the car there. We'll go and retrieve it later today.
We're on the motorway now for a while, so hopefully it'll be clearer. It'll make life easier for us.
It's been an exciting rally so far, I can tell you. Lots of fun.
With just 5 hours rest, the first crews were back on the road. Leaving Chester, a short trip north along the M56 motorway would take us to Limb Services and the first of the day's tests, but this would only be a short stop on the nearly 12-hour trek to Peebles. The cold, wet, slippery surface hampered all efforts to warm tyres, but again, it was the usual suspects who were putting the hammer down. Godfrey and Taylor had already posted the fastest time before the rest of the pack had even turned up.
360, nice and neat, please. Right of F, 270.
The Bricknell duo posted the second quickest time, with the yellow BMW of Thomas Kerner and Stefan Huber pushed down to fourth by Andy Lane and Ian Tully, who managed to snatch third in their BMW.
Okay, 11:25, car 25.
At the next time control, navigator Ian Tully recalled how he and Andy Lane seemed to fare better than most the night before.
Andy drove really well. Got up all the hills, which was one of the things. There were a few places, I think, where there were lots of cars stuck. It was a shame to lose the regularities, but they did well to get us through as much as we could, and a few long road sections to give us a bit of chance to sleep. Yeah, dropped a few on the regularities, dropped a few on the time control section, but managed to get through. We were happy with that because there was lots of opportunities for disappearing into scenery.
At Myerscough College, the third test of the morning was a lightning-quick blast around the car park, with the majority of competitors putting in an impressive show, especially Lane and Tully in their BMW.
Right of F, left of G, 90 right, left of H, 90 right. Right of I, left of J, turn hairpin left, left of N and O, 90 right. Well done. Right, stop and try to finish.
The first regularity of the day started just off the Preston to Lancaster road near Catterall, and from here we went via Barnacre and Oakenclough for a run over Harrison End Fell. A sprinkling of overnight snow had given the landscape a picture postcard feel. The route was once also a favourite of RAC rallies in the 50s and 60s, and it wasn't too difficult to imagine why. The next test presented a tricky challenge right from the off. Bollard A seemed to be a particular thorn in the side for many drivers. Yeah, just a bit to the right, a bit more, back it up a bit. No, to the right, to the right. Anyone? On the cold tarmac of Willens Coachyard, Mark Godfrey and Martin Taylor were finding the surface that extra bit too slippery, with the inevitable consequence. Ouch. With the day's test dealt with, the relentless push northwards takes us through the stunning scenery of Lancashire. The villages of Ingleton, Ribblehead and Widdale Fell all pass by in a blur. As we climb higher, the temperature dips and icy conditions will try and push drivers' car control skills to their limit. A lunch stop finds a slightly embarrassed Mark Godfrey reflecting on his slippery performance on the coachyard test.
Did you know this? Did you get it on film?
I did.
Great. It was a very gentle slide into a metal fence, yes. We managed to borrow a new lens, so tonight we'll be able to see where we're going.
Had a good run today, exciting with the snow and the ice. Beautiful sunshine, good scenery, so really good morning. There have been a few cars without winter tyres and they've struggled, and they've been obviously failing to get up some of the inclines, and then maybe we've had a job to get around a couple.
Christmas time sparkles with festive goodwill, but the hall was also once the scene of a very famous punch-up.
This is actually where Jeremy Clarkson punches directly in the face at this hotel. It's cold and snowy, and it's like a bit of a Christmas wonderland, maybe. Thank you very much. See you later.
Fortified by their Sunday lunch, crews were ready to tackle the next regularity, an epic 24-mile stretch over the Buttertubs Pass, one of Yorkshire's more legendary routes. The Nottersbat first section climbs 190 metres in just 2 miles, but soon the icy conditions give way to more manageable roads as the route descends through picturesque villages to the first of 3 timing points. As dusk closes in, we venture further north and into Cumbria, towards the time control at the Crossing Cafe, located on Platform 1 of the railway station in Alston. Run by the South Tyndale Railway Preservation Society, this restored 3.5-mile narrow gauge railway offers visitors the chance to ride in trains pulled by vintage steam, battery electric or diesel locomotives. However, crews had to make do with a quick brew and a ponder over the maps. Despite being highly competitive, the spirit of true camaraderie is always present, with many crews eager to help out.
It's going okay. It's my first one. It's difficult. It's very, very difficult. But it's highly, highly enjoyable.
It's extremely cold. The regularities are pretty tough. We've had quite a lot of snow on the ground. We've had several sections cancelled. I'm looking forward to a beer, actually.
But as always on Le Jog, the night beckons and there are another 100 miles to go before the rest halt. After all the ice and snow, it was nice to see the weather back in balmy plus figures. On Le Jog, there can be no respite from the pressure of maintaining the high standard required to reach medal status. It seemed the darkness and the terrain combined with the wintry conditions would make even reaching that standard a tall order. With the going a little easier, crews crossed into the Scottish borders. As we went further north, we wondered if the milder weather would last, but the answer to that question was no. Unsurprisingly, temperatures dropped and the going became icy once more. With the planned 4 regularities now reduced to 2, the route would eventually see our weary crews arrive in Peebles for the overnight stop.
What do you think about the rally so far?
Great. It really is good. It's endurance, it's go, go, go. It really is fantastic. This is the 7th time I've done it.
It's the first time I've done it. My navigator's only navigated for me twice. He's only navigated twice before, so this is his 3rd time ever. So I think he's done a great job, but it has been a tough event, but we've really, really enjoyed it.
The organisers are obviously really challenged with the weather. What with the last-minute road closures and remapping everybody and getting everybody around the route, I think they've done extremely well.
We have some small problems with the brakes, but yeah, it goes. It's an MG.
Well, it's been an interesting few days. We survived through leg 1. Wales was a challenge due to the snow and frozen ice, but we managed to get through and give everybody a bit of fun on the night section. Yesterday went well. We only lost a small bit of the route due to snow drifts on the top of haylots. So we think we're going to run most of the stuff today, as long as they keep the snow gates open over Braemar and Spittal Glen Shee. Everything should be fine.
The jog's been on the list of events to do for me for nearly 20 years since I first read of it. And it's taken me this long to get here, and this year's the year, and I'm really glad I made it. Before this event, I've never driven on snow or ice, so it's been a really good new experience for me.
Long and hard.
Long, difficult,
very
tricky,
yes.
muddy.
But we love it.
Icy.
It's been tricky, lots of ice, lots of snow. Been very slippery actually, but apart from that it's been alright. We've had a blinding first day and then it went downhill from there, but we're doing alright, we're here. A lot of people aren't.
Fortunately, there's always someone eager to lend a helping hand.
Came in here with no alternator last night. Battery was almost flat, and the boys have done wonders this morning, or last night and this morning, to complete the job. So fortunately we're back in the running again, and hopefully we can manage to keep the car on the road.
We got a puncture in one of the regularities yesterday, but we changed the wheel obviously. We dropped a bit of time, but we still got round the route. This is Bernard. He's been with us ever since we started rallying in this car. The car is actually called Bernard. We didn't name the car Bernard. The car was called Bernard when we got the car, and this is Bernard, our little mascot.
Oh, I really enjoy it. I've never been on this kind of event before. I'm not sure I can go back to the kind I'm used to in the States now. I've had so much fun. We like to use computers over there, and those navigators have it pretty easy. And the roads, my God, there's just nothing like this anywhere.
Doesn't look far on the map, but I think there might be a few tricks and stuff.
At the end, we will see if we finish.
With a whopping 580 miles left to go, leg 4 would be the trek from Peebles to Aviemore. And while no new snow had fallen, the plummeting temperatures meant the going could again be treacherous. The cold December morning light ushered crews across the new Forth Road Bridge and onto the first test of the day. In present conditions, the drift track might seem more suited to speed skaters than classic endurance rally machinery, and by helping to clear the frost, the early crews seemed to hand a slight advantage to the following pack. Two laps at the track would see John Miles and navigator Andy Elcombe on the handbrake for the tight turns, putting in a time of 1 minute 48 in their Porsche 356. In the Mini, driver Owen Turner was in his element, posting a time of 1 minute 24, which was good for third place, while David Stanley and Peter Blackett managed a creditable 1 minute 38. There was no rest for the wicked as the competition carried straight on and into the second regularity of the day, named Loch Low. The route would take us through some magnificent countryside and close to Loch Leven Nature Reserve. At the beginning of leg 4, only 41 of the 55 starters were still left in the running. It seems that Le Jog 2017 had indeed taken its toll. Stopping briefly en route for a time control at the inn at Muckhart, crews had time to snatch a quick coffee before he was back on the road and heading north through Dalgin-Ross.
Pizza? Can you sign your life away? I can.
Regularity 3 of the day skirts along the scenic edges of Loch Earn en route to the Killin Hotel for lunch, a favourite Le Jog watering hole.
Is that going to help your driving, Andy?
No, but it'll help people to see me coming.
Are you in gold medal contention?
Yes. At the moment.
You can only go
Anything can happen.
It's not over till it's over on a jog. There's still plenty of time for things to go wrong. When we get to John O'Groats, we'll know whether we've managed to keep the gold medal, and it's very easy to lose it. Very, very easy to lose it.
We just had one bad moment where we got stuck behind a flock of sheep for 4 minutes. So we lost a life flare, as it were, had a fail behind the sheep. So that was a bit of a shame. But other than that, fantastic route. Yeah, loving it. And the weather's been so kind to us as well. Today with clear skies, sunshine, so it was a bit slippery. At least you can see it coming, so it's good.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The challenges ahead for the next 15 hours or so. So hopefully the car will stand up, and so will I.
Leaving the warmth of the Killin Hotel behind, regularity 4 beckons. As we climb up into the mountains, the temperature falls and ice again becomes an issue. The glass-like surface of the roads mean drivers must tread carefully, the slippery ground testing their car control to their limits. For the safety of the competitors, however, 2 of the 4 planned regularities were abandoned, which meant the scheduled rest halt at Aviemore, an intended 2-hour cat nap, had turned into a leisurely 4-hour stopover.
So unfortunately we lost 2 regularities and a coffee stop this evening. In the advance car they managed to get up over the 2 regularities, but coming up over to Tomental there was just far too much snow, and the steep hills was just far too much. We think the advance car was actually the last car over before they shut the snow gates.
We were due to do 4 regularities after lunch. We did the first one and we've just done the last one, but we didn't do the 2 in between.
We started a regularity, but we couldn't get up the hill. The tires were too slippery and we had to turn around, so we missed a few timing points, which drops us out of contention for a medal. That's a pity.
We were gold on Monday, then we went down to blue ribbon, then we went up to silver. I think we're down at bronze now. So, but still a long way to go as well. So,
roads were covered in snow up into the forest.
Driver enjoyed it more than the navigator, I think. But it was a fantastic route. We had a really good day today, and looks like we're going to get a little bit more sleep than we anticipated.
It's about survival now, isn't it? We're into that sort of last 18 hours. It's been brilliant so far. Just hope we can find all the controls and get to the finish.
The fifth and final leg and the push from Aviemore to the finish in John O'Groats would begin in the early hours of Tuesday morning. Advanced scouts have been sent out by Hero to check the intended route and have reported that once again the weather was forcing road closures. So, armed with revised route instructions, our intrepid adventurers vanish into the cold, icy darkness of a Scottish winter's night. Despite the temperatures plummeting to -9, spirits were still high as drivers delighted in the frozen wonderland. One of the planned regularities, aptly named the Loch Ness Monster, had to be tamed by the organisers and turned into Baby Nessie by reducing the route. But as with all babies, this baby of a regularity still turned out to be no less tricky. The fourth regularity was named Loch Arthur, stretching just under 30 miles over 5 timing points. The regularity would prove pivotal for the Kiff brothers as a navigational error saw them drop out of gold medal standing, a position they had maintained over 1,400 miles. As dawn broke, we push on to Thurso. With a well-earned breakfast picked up along the way, the final regularity of Le Jog would take us to John O'Groats and Journey's End. The sound of pipes greeted the weary but elated crews as they arrive.
As ever, just so pleased to make it to the end. It's a hell of a feeling to get up here.
That was unbelievable. It really was. What an experience.
What a great event. I'm speechless.
It's a wonderful event, one of the best classic high events in the world.
Can we do it again, please?
Thoroughly enjoyed it. The car's gone extremely well, probably better than the crew.
Well, the organisers have done a really good job with all the reroutes and the weather.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Really challenging, great route. The organisation did brilliantly reorganising it all the way through. I think it was very impressive. But yeah, no, fantastic time.
Couldn't have gone much better, really. We've had a pretty good run up, I think, you know, ups and downs, but yeah, I mean, very pleased with the result, I think. I think we're in for a gold, which is what we've come for, so terrific.
It's been excellent, it's been really good. A little bit up and down, a few knocks and bruises, but all in all, very good.
Considering we didn't think we were going to leave Cornwall.
Yes, we made it, and we've decided to nickname the car the Mighty Maestro. After all the problems we had, she got us around the whole route, and she's come back safe in one piece.
Have a look at my magic wand. Look at my gear stick. On the last test, just going off the go-kart track, try to put it in first gear. The gear knob fell off in my hand. And off we go, around the go-kart track with no knob, as they say.
The organisers, everyone at Hero, all the other competitors, the camaraderie, that whole mix, it's just a heady cocktail. I defy anybody to say this isn't just great motorsport.
Bronze medals went to Bill Kleinhurt and Dan Harrison, as well as Tony Jardine and Nick Cooper. Silver medals went to Le Jog regulars Robert and Susan McLean. Charles Harrison and Richard Lambley, Thomas de Vargas Michuca and Ali Proctor and Richard White at Bernard Northwall.
Ladies and gentlemen, your silver medal winners.
The 5 crews to pick up the coveted gold were David Stanley and Peter Blackett, Mark Godfrey and Martin Taylor, Andy Lane and Ian Tully, Thomas and Roger Bricknell and Richard Isherwood and Ian Canavan.
To the haggis! The haggis!
After Le Jog, the final scores were tallied for the season's biggest awards. Snatching the Golden Roma for navigators away from Ian Canavan by just 4.5 points was Martin Taylor. While collecting the Hero Cup for 2017 for an unprecedented 4th time was the incomparable Paul Crosby. Congratulations to all our winners for 2017. The 2018 season kicks off with Heroes Winter Challenge to Monte Carlo.